I had already realized that this would be the day the man would finally measure his own worth, because that morning he stood in front of the mirror staring at his large belly and heavy chest, hearing every cruel word people had ever said about him echoing in his mind, telling him he would never change, that he didn't belong in a gym, that he had no discipline, and his heart sank so deeply he felt like giving up entirely. He remembered the first time he walked into a gym and felt the stares, the quiet laughter, someone even whispering that the barbell wasn't for someone like him. That day he went home crushed, eating whatever he could find just to numb the shame. The days passed and the weight increased along with the sadness, until one afternoon he stood shirtless in the gym attempting to lift a heavy barbell far beyond his ability, his legs shaking, his body swaying awkwardly, nearly zigzagging under the weight as people turned to look. His heart pounded wildly, and for a second he thought he would collapse under the bar. And he almost did. That was when he heard a calm voice say, "It doesn't have to start with perfection." He turned and saw a beautiful woman watching him, not with mockery, but with a gentle, understanding smile. She stepped forward as he struggled, helping him safely rack the bar before it fell. Instead of laughing like others had before, she asked him why he was fighting himself instead of starting small. In her hands were two partially unwrapped chocolate bars. He was confused when she offered him a piece, because chocolate was the last thing he expected in a gym. But she smiled and said sometimes the journey begins by letting go of self-hatred. They sat together and each took a small bite, laughing softly. She told him she had once struggled too, that punishing herself had never brought success, but patience and small consistent steps had changed everything. For the first time, he felt seen rather than judged.
Something shifted inside him that day.
He returned to the gym not fueled by anger, but by intention. He lifted lighter weights.
He focused on balance.
He learned proper form. She stood beside him, encouraging him, steady when he felt unstable. People began to notice a difference not just in his body, but in his energy. He no longer looked like a man at war with himself. He looked like someone building himself up. Weeks passed, and while his body slowly grew stronger, the real transformation was in his confidence. One day they stood together again, smiling widely, no shame in his posture, no hesitation in his eyes. They laughed, hugged, and in that moment he understood something shocking and beautiful. The change he needed was never just about losing weight. It was about gaining belief, friendship, and joy. What began as a story of embarrassment and near failure ended in warmth, laughter, and a happiness he never thought he deserved.